if Kenny Pickett starts, then that shows me Kevin Stefanski feels like his job may be on the line.
Haslam's going to come down on Sunday, October 5th, and he says, I want Shedeur to play against Minnesota. And the staff's going to say, we're in London. It's rough. Just give us one more week. We don't want Shedeur having to go overseas. It's a big ask. And so they stave off the owner for a week. Flacco loses that game. I believe Shedeur starts Sunday, October 12th.
Breaking news out of Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders is now at the center of a growing storm inside the Browns organization. Reports indicate that head coach Kevin Stefanski is facing mounting pressure over his quarterback decision, with strong voices pushing for Shedeur to take the reins. Stafanski, however, is rumored to be considering Kenny Pickett for the starting role, a move that could come at a serious cost. According to insiders, choosing Pickett over Shedeur might not just upset the locker room, it could put Stefanski's job on the line. The tension is building, and all eyes are now on Cleveland.
Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. And if you're Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barrow, their head coach and general manager, you go, hey, if one of these two kids starts, we're going to get fired.
Adding to the conversation, Dan Orlovsky offered a measured but pointed take on the situation. According to him, if things inside the Browns camp aren't as chaotic as they seem, if either Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel are showing promise in practice, then Stefanski should absolutely go with one of them as the starter. Orlovsky emphasized that if Shedeur or Gabriel are doing something, there's no reason to hesitate. Let them take the field. Let them prove it under the lights. Otherwise, Stefanski could be taking an unnecessary risk, not just with the team's performance, but with his own future. In simpler terms, Orlovsky's message was clear. Shedeur Sanders might be Stefanski's best shot at staying in Cleveland. And now, the picture is becoming even clearer. According to multiple reports, the Browns' ownership has made their intentions known. They want Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback. This isn't just locker room buzz or media chatter anymore, it's a directive coming from the very top. Colin Cowherd recently revealed that Sanders has quickly become the favorite for the QB1 spot, and it's not just hype. Behind the scenes, ownership is reportedly preparing to apply serious pressure on the coaching staff to make Shedeur the starter from day one. Earlier in camp, there was genuine competition between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders for the starting quarterback role. But as the practices rolled on, that battle started to take a clear shape, and Shedeur was pulling ahead. The difference? Accuracy, size, and command. Gabriel, while talented, has struggled with consistency in his passing, particularly under pressure. His height disadvantage and issues with throwing accuracy have become more apparent during live reps, giving Shedeur the edge. In contrast, Shedeur has displayed better physical tools, cleaner mechanics, and sharper decision-making.
And it's not a knock, it's just how he plays in that spread wide-open offense, and you project that to a spread wide-open field. Yes, the arm may not be as strong.
Sources are revealing that Jimmy Haslam himself, the Browns' owner, is directly intervening in the quarterback decision. Reports suggest that Haslam is actively pressuring head coach Kevin Stefanski to start Shedeur Sanders, regardless of Stefanski's initial preferences. In fact, it's now being said that Stefanski tried to steer things in a different direction during the draft, selecting Dillon Gabriel in the third round, just 2 picks before Shedeur, possibly as a move to block Shedeur from landing in Cleveland altogether. But Haslam wasn't having it. Now, he's stepping in once again, pushing Stefanski and the coaching staff to hand the reins to Shedeur from day one. The message from ownership is clear. Shedeur is the future, and that future is supposed to begin now. With tensions mounting and the spotlight getting hotter, it's becoming more and more evident. The Browns' immediate direction might be riding on Shedeur Sanders' shoulders. Adding to the unfolding drama, Colin Cowherd also reported that despite the clear pressure from ownership, The Browns' management remains hesitant to hand over the starting job to Shedeur Sanders immediately. According to Cowherd, the coaching staff and front office are exploring ways to delay Shedeur's debut. Not out of doubt in his talent, but in hopes of gradually easing him into the role. Their approach appears to be more cautious, aiming to protect Shedeur from being thrown into the fire too soon. But Cowherd doesn't think that plan will hold. He firmly believes that Shedeur's rise is inevitable. Ownership is committed to building around him, and they see him as the franchise quarterback who can finally transform Cleveland into a true championship contender. The only question now is when, not if, Shedeur takes over. And with all signs pointing to a front office at odds with ownership, the countdown to a major decision is already ticking. Colin Cowherd also shed light on a key factor that stretches beyond pure football performance: marketability and media impact.
4 weeks, the staff is going to tell him, Shedeur's not ready, Shedeur's not ready. My guess is they go 0-4, maybe they go 1-3. Haslam's going to come down on Sunday, October 5th. And he says, I want Shedeur to play.
According to Cowherd, the Browns' ownership isn't just focused on wins, they're focused on headlines. Bringing in Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback isn't just a football move, it's a brand move. The owners want to make a splash, and Shedeur, with his high-profile name, charisma, and rising popularity, represents a chance to inject Cleveland with national attention. Cowherd drew comparisons to the way ownership previously backed players like Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson, two quarterbacks who received overwhelming support from the top, even amid pushback from parts of the organization. The pattern is familiar. When the owners have a vision, they back it, loudly and persistently. Now it's clear that Shedeur is the new centerpiece in that vision. When Shedeur Sanders was selected as the 5th pick by the Browns, few expected him to shake up the quarterback landscape so quickly. At the time, the assumption was simple. He'd be a developmental piece, maybe a backup, someone who'd sit behind veterans and slowly grow into the role. After all, quarterbacks taken that deep in the pecking order rarely threaten for a starting job right away. But fast forward to now, and things have taken a dramatic turn. Shedeur hasn't just exceeded expectations, he's completely redefined them. What was once seen as a long-term project has now become a present-day necessity. His performance in training camp, his leadership, and his presence on the field have been so impactful that his absence from the starting lineup is now seen as a risk, not for the team, but for head coach Kevin Stefanski's job.
If you're drafted in the 4th round or later, you're instantly running with the 2s. More often than not, even the 3rd round or later, you're more likely running with the 2s. Though Shedeur is probably going to still be running with the 4s, the coaches suggested there's going to be a fair opportunity for everybody. So, James, does that change your opinion?
Shedeur Sanders has quickly emerged as a powerful presence in Cleveland, not just as a promising young quarterback, but as a figure whose stature, poise, and performance are commanding attention at every level of the organization. What began as a quiet addition to the roster has now evolved into a movement, driven by his consistency on the field and his undeniable leadership off it. The Browns' ownership sees it clearly. They believe Shedeur is the future, and more importantly, they want that future to begin now. His composure, arm talent, and star potential have made him the standout option, and it's no surprise the owners are pushing hard for him to take the reins. Kevin Stefanski, however, remains hesitant, cautious about rushing a rookie into the spotlight. But at this point, it's not just about player development. It's about organizational direction. And if Stefanski continues to resist the momentum building behind Shedeur, he may find himself on the wrong side of the decision-making table. Because in Cleveland right now, starting Shedeur Sanders isn't just a football move, it's a franchise statement. And ignoring that could come at a cost no coach wants to pay. What do you think about the rise of Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland? Do you believe the Browns' ownership is right to push for him as the starting quarterback? Or should Kevin Stefanski be given full control to ease him in on his own terms? Is this a smart move for the franchise, or a risky power play that could backfire? And most importantly, will Stefanski eventually give in and start Shedeur, or will he stand his ground and risk it all? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We're curious to hear where you stand on this growing Cleveland quarterback drama.